Hey, what's up guys, John here. The war on high prices has begun.
Americans are paying the price for rising inflation, from the grocery store to housing and transportation.
The amount being spent on eating has hit a 30-year high.
Imagine a world in which the government will tell you as a business owner how much you can charge for your food that you sell, your apartment that you rent, the energy in which you consume. Everything is fixed. All prices are fixed. You may have seen many videos with Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Biden, all saying the same exact thing. Corporate greed is the problem.
Corporate America, stop the greed.
They're raising prices because they can, and they're not being competed down.
Corporations increasing prices is the problem. Inflation is our fault. And so to combat all of this, they have to bring forward a solution. This solution is going to be a complete overhaul of capitalism to the likes of which we've never before seen. No longer capitalism in the traditional sense. We're walking into something different, more along the lines of socialism. This is America in 2024, and in this video I'm going to break it down. I'll show you exactly what they're doing on the whitehouse.gov. I'll show you the laws, the bills, everything that's actually being worked on behind the scenes. Everyone else is distracted by every single story that in a day, 2 days, 3 days will be completely forgotten. The only thing that really matters right now are these laws, these bills, and America. In this video I'll break it down and give you the facts. Please hit the like button, YouTube will share the content, educate more people about what's really happening in the US economy. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we would love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video and schedule a free strategy session for tomorrow. Take a look at this. So corporate greed, increasingly seen, is the major cause of inflation. Right? This came out on the 14th, February. Now, follow the dates here. Biden takes aim at grocery store chains. This came out on the 1st of February. Then on the 11th, the Super Bowl, it says Biden calls on snack companies to stop shrinkflation ahead of Super Bowl. Then he comes out about 12 days later on the 23rd saying Biden planning to hit food shrinkflation, corporate greed. Well, now a bill comes out yesterday with Elizabeth Warren all about this. Now, what's shocking is what Bernie Sanders is proposing to do, how they're all working together on this. So Warren senators introduced a bill to crack down on shrinkflation. Today, U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, Massachusetts, joined Senator Bob Casey in introducing the Shrinkflation Prevention Act to crack down on corporations that deceive consumers by selling smaller sizes of their products without asking for lower prices. The bill follows recent reports on the effects of corporate greed, on product size, on rising inflation, and comes as companies continue to rake in supersized profits by either raising prices excessively or shrinking the products they sell. Now, I would argue that prices are determined by the buyer. If corporations raise their prices so much, buyers simply will find alternatives. It's not the government's job to step in and tell companies and businesses how much they can or cannot charge. They should be a referee in the game, not playing on the team. And at all the expenses at the American consumers, from Doritos to Oreos to even a roll of toilet paper, big companies are giving you less but offering the same or higher prices. Corporate executives thought we wouldn't notice, but they're wrong, says Elizabeth Warren. I'll continue fighting for Massachusetts families by giving the Biden administration the tools it needs to crack down on shrinkflation and other forms of corporate greed. Then you have Bernie Sanders. What he is working to do is it's a new bill to end corporate greed. And it's a 95% tax on windfall profits of corporations with more than $500 million in annual revenue. Windfall profits would be determined by each company's average profits during the 5 years preceding the pandemic. Because the tax on profit is not revenue, companies that raise prices to account for rising expenses would not be penalized. However, companies that have chosen to raise prices in the pursuit of obscene profits would face a steep penalty. Had the tax been in effect 2021, it would have raised an estimated $400 billion in 1 year from 30 of the largest corporate profiteers alone. For example, Chevron, Amazon, JP Morgan Chase, and Berkshire. Now, they're even saying that oil companies, same exact thing, they're taking advantage of consumers. And they're saying the same exact thing about landlords, banks, credit card companies, everything, every single industry right now. For example, this came up. Biden-Harris administration, this is on whitehouse.gov, announced broad new action to protect consumers from billions in junk fees. So if you go to a Japanese restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, you buy airfare online, you do anything, and they have a credit card fee. They have any type of fee that is a third-party vendor to help process that transaction. That can be considered a junk fee, and that entire business could be in violation. And so it's absolutely shocking how fast this world is moving. So the FTC is proposing a rule that, if finalized as proposed, would ban businesses from charging hidden or misleading fees and require them to show the full price up front. The rule would also require companies to disclose upfront whether fees are refundable. This would mean no more surprise resort fees at checkout or unexpected service fees to buy a live event ticket. The rule would apply to industries across the economy, including event tickets, hotels, lodging, apartment rentals, car rentals, and more. So even pulling your credit report, like all of these fees, they're going after. And so it goes so much deeper than this. I mean, CFPB, for example, they're going after bounced check fees, down more than 86% since 2021, saving consumers $2 billion. And look at this. So junk fees make it hard for consumers to know how much something costs. Many consumers shop based on advertised prices. For example, an airfare or hotel price on a travel site, a car displayed in a TV commercial. But you start to look at how much further this is going. It's shocking. They're going after the Department of Housing, right? Called on the industry, housing providers, state and local governments to adopt policies to promote greater fairness and transparency on fees faced by renters. And the FCC has finalized a rule that will require broadband providers to display broadband nutrition labels for consumers. And they go all across the you can look, for example, in the medical industry. You can see exactly what they're doing here, because this is what's going to be coming on all these other industries. After decades of opposition, Biden enacted a law that finally takes on Big Pharma and gives Medicare the power to negotiate drug prices. President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act will save millions of seniors on some of the costliest prescription drugs on the market. And today, Medicare will send initial offers to manufacturers on the first 10 drugs selected the drug prices negotiation to help bring down the prices of these prescriptions. This is the first time ever that Medicare is not accepting the drug prices by pharmaceutical companies. So they are setting the prices, right? And the same exact thing is happening right now in the rental market, in the housing market. So you just start to connect the dots here. You can see how fast this train is moving. When rent is being determined, not by the landlord, not by the market, it's being determined by the government. That's something we should all watch out for. For example, what they're working on right now is they're talking about penalizing egregious rent increases. So what is technically the egregious? If property insurance goes up 10, 15, 20% and that cost gets pushed onto the tenant, is that rent now egregious? If it is, then who absorbs that increase of insurance? Would it be the property owner? What if the property owner can't afford it? Right? Now the property owner is in a very, very difficult situation. And so what they are proposing to do is a national rent control on all properties that are financed from Freddie and Fannie. So you have to ask yourself, well, how many properties really are financed from Freddie and Fannie? Well, the answer to that question is 70% of the mortgage market. 70% of the mortgage market. So as rents close on a record high, more Americans, including the federal government, are wondering if it's time for national rent control that will regulate rent increases and place restrictions on evictions. In January, Biden administration announced a blueprint for the Renters' Bill of Rights and encouraged federal governmental agencies and politicians to help tenants find, afford, and stay in housing. The blueprint is only guidance, not law or policy, on types of protections renters need and how to achieve them. The blueprint explains how different agencies can play a role, but the one that has drawn attention to the Federal Housing Finance Agency examine ways to limit egregious rent increases. FHFA request for public input on renter protections on Fannie and Freddie finance properties received thousands of comments, including 17 Democrats led by these Democrats right here, based on egregious rent increases. Rents have risen 25% or more and more than $400 since 2019. Frustrated Americans have been coalesced around rent control as a solution. But critics say this will only push rents higher. They say the national plan to increase housing stock is a better solution, but takes much longer to implement. There are proven solutions to housing challenges. And what is that? It's going to be a federal rent control. A federal rent control. So you start to look at this, you can see everything is changing. But at the end of the day, you have to remember that inflation is our fault, and they are there to solve it, at least according to, the Atlantic. So inflation is our fault, and you see, they're willing to do whatever it takes to bring down inflation. So how can they do whatever it takes without doing everything that they've already listed they're working on right now? Right? This is when they say whatever it takes, that's what it means. Whatever it takes. This is the new America. I don't think a lot of people are ready for this, but when they're saying, it's the large corporations and people can get behind. The majority of people can get behind, corporations are greedy, corporations are bad, because it doesn't, directly impact them. They say, you know what, these corporations are taking advantage. Okay, maybe, right? But that's where it starts. And then it starts going corporations, then it goes to junk fees, then it goes to small businesses, then it goes to the regulation, then it goes to the housing stock, then it goes to the rental market, then it goes to, and before you know it, it's in every single industry. And that's what we are walking into. You can see it. When there was stimulus packages, it was just going to be the first package, then it went to the second and the third, and there was eviction moratoriums. This is a completely different shift in America. And that shift is not over, it's just begun. And that's what we're in right now. Over the next couple of years, we will see, I believe, a massive reduction in property rights and a massive reduction in traditional capitalism in America. And I think a lot of people need to be prepared for it. One of the easiest ways to get prepared for this is, what I believe is having Second Passport, having a really strong online business, having, really, really good income, not being in high interest rate consumer credit card debt, having great credit, having everything in line, putting yourself in the best position possible, because when this rug gets pulled, like what I think is probably going to happen in the next year or so, you want to be able to stand. And a lot of people won't. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop below, hit the like button. If you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for a massive wealth transfer, which I think without doubt we're in right now, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com, click the link in the description just below this video, and schedule a free strategy session. Catch you next video.